right? Um, and how what we choose to pay attention to, that becomes our day. So I don't know if you did
Yeah.
Tuesday's class, but like, so on Monday, I decided what I was going to pay attention to is I was going to try to notice every single like small act of kindness that I saw people doing, right? And so that already
Mhm.
starts to like program my brain to be looking for the good things. And then, right, the more you start to do that, you're focusing on that stuff. And then all that extra noise that might distract you, right?
Yeah.
If I've given like if you think of your attention almost like a spotlight, right? And if you choose to focus it on one thing, then everything else like goes into the dark. Yeah, it goes into the dark and it doesn't become what we focus on. And then I've been listening to this doctor, she's a neuroscientist, and really talking about like the different sections of our brain. Okay. And like we have the place in our brain that's like for our visual field. We have the place in our brain for like audio and senses. And so the more we can give those parts of the brain like a job,
Yeah.
right? They're going to be busy with that. So they just can't go on. I just continually think about it like when you give a kid an iPad, they won't get in trouble, right? They're just going to sit there and look at the iPad. So, what this meditation is going to be to start, we're going to start by just starting to feel the breath. So, the feeling of the breath is engaging like your sensory, your like physical body. Then, just like our Ujjayi breath, we're going to try to start to listen to sound that'll take over the audio. And then, with our eyes closed, I'm going to want you to picture your mind's eye like a blank movie screen, and the number, I want you to see if you can visualize the number
Mhm.
flashing in front of you. So what we're going to do is we're going to like build up to it, and then we're going to start counting and like visualizing the number flashing to 10, and then you're going to start over again and flash to 10.
Mhm.
And you're going to notice like the first couple rounds through, I make it all the way to 10. And then my brain gets tired and I start making it to 6, and I think about what's coming next, and I remember, oh, back to 7, and I finished to 8. And then, so I just want you to kind of see how clearly giving the job that we can keep on that. Then we're going to do some sun salutations, counting the breath, very rhythmic like. And then we're going to end class with some long, deep holds. Okay. So Fridays, end of the week for you, like some long, deep holds. Okay. So, um, yeah, I guess I'll put you on mute. It's fine. I can put you on mute, but you know, if you ever want to talk to me during the class, you can. So I'm going to put on a block so that when I do my meditation, I feel really tall. And so you'll start by just closing the eyes, right? Because so much of our attention is pulled by the visual field. I see an advertisement. I start thinking, oh, I should buy that. Oh, I should go on Amazon, right? So closing the eye, turning the focus inward. And now I just want you to start to feel your breath. Maybe as you sit here, you can start to feel like the heaviness of your hands on your legs. You can start to feel any extra effort that is not needed to hold the pose. And I want you to try to see if you can feel the breath really in the front body. And so, for example, when we just started, I was only feeling the breath in my upper chest, but now I'm starting to feel a little bit of the movement of my bottom front ribs. Okay, and then can you start to feel some movement in the side ribs? And then finally, see if you can feel the breath in the back body. And then let's give another part of your brain a job. So you're feeling, you're sensing, and now you are listening for the sound of your Ujjayi breath. Mine starts as kind of a quiet whisper. Okay, and then I want to see if I can start to hear my mind counting the breath, internally hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And starting again. And then I'm going to be quiet and you're going to try to project those numbers onto your mind's eye, counting to 10 and restarting. Perfect. So before you start to move, you just kind of check in. Was that easy? Was that hard? And then we're going to shift over the shin bone and come into tabletop. And downward facing dog. So it looks like we might have like a bad connection. If we have a bad connection, Zubair, it's not ideal, but if you want to turn your video off and just do audio, sometimes that'll free up enough space. And I mean, I think we've worked together enough that, you know, it's basics. We're not doing any crazy poses. And I'll try to go at a pace that like and then I am going to unmute you, okay? So that if you need to talk to me, you can. But I think this will just make a better experience, at least for you. You can watch me. I'm gonna trust that you're kind of following along, and then if anything happens, you can always let me know. Okay, so we're gonna stretch up and back into our downward facing dog. And then even here, I'd like for you to close your eyes and just see one more time if you can kind of count to 10, letting the numbers flash in front of your eyes. Giving you something so that maybe you don't get so concerned about the pose, but it's really where our attention is. Good. And then you're going to step your right foot forward, up in between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Put your back left knee down. Now I'm going to plant my left hand, and I'm just going to let my right knee kind of swing out to the side and bring it back in. Okay, so just loosening up the hip joint. Left hip will sink down, right knee, you can kind of use your hand to press it out and get a little bit of this like pulsing sensation. Because in today's class, we're going to work more of that like external rotation. Okay, so we maybe inhale for 4, exhale for 4, giving your mind that job to count. One more, inhale for 4, and exhale, press open for 4. Plant the palm, step back, downward facing dog. Left foot will step forward up in between your hands, lunge. Lower your back right knee down as you plant your palm, and then get into this little rhythm of just sinking in, clearing out some tension. Inhale, squeezing a little bit in towards center. Exhale, sinking in. I use a 4 count to kind of pull up, and then I use a 4 count, little twist as you sink in. Let's do 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, maybe rolling more open towards the pinky edge side of the foot. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Bring that back to center as you step back. Downward facing dog. From your down dog, you're going to take your knees to the mat as you lift up to find kneeling. And then your right foot will step forward. Good. Keep your right hand on your right hip and just let that left arm reach over. So I use my right hand to kind of push my hip a little bit to the left. And then just again, kind of pulse out. Inhale. Push the hips to the left as you reach up and out. And let's go one more, just gentle flow. Inhale, capturing the mind. That's really what we're going to try to do. We're going to feel sensation, obviously, but bringing the attention back to the breath. Plant your palm, tuck your back toes, step back, downward facing dog. Whenever you need to, if the mind wanders, right? Maybe try counting out, visualizing, seeing these numbers in your mind's eye, and then knees to the mat. Come up to find kneeling, and left foot will step forward. Keep the left hand on the left hip. Take the right arm up. That's your inhale. Exhale, kind of pull side lean. Inhale, pull it back. Exhale, like really steady rhythm or wave of movement with the mind and breath. And we really match that to the movement in the body. As you come back, right hand on your hip. And now I'd like you to step to stand, top of your mat. Okay, we're going to be at the top of our mat. Take your arms out to the side. Inhale, arms up. 2, 3, 4. Flip your palms, pull the hands down, sinking the shoulders onto your upper back. Flip your palms, let the air be kind of heavy as you resist. No tension around the neck. And then exhale, flip. 2, 3, 4. We're going to do one more. Rotate upper arm bones. Inhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. And exhale, press. 2, 3, 4. We add on. Inhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. Hip hinge, arms back. 2, 3, 4. Chest open. Inhale, arms up. 2, 3, 4. Tadasana. 2, 3, 4. Continue, lift. 2, 3, 4. Hip hinge. 2, 3, 4. Chest feels like cobra. Inhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. And Tadasana. 2, 3, 4. One more like that. Inhale. Keep the sides of the neck soft and relaxed. Push the bum back. Feel the weight in the heels. Very steady, consistent movement. Inhale, find the legs, lift through the spine as you rise, and then release, coming all the way down, kind of riding this even wave of your breath. Tadasana, we add on. Inhale, arms lift. 2, 3, 4. Hold all the way in. 2, 3, 4. Hip hinge, reach back, open. 2, 3, 4. Fold in. 2, 3, 4. All the way to rise. Urdhva Hastasana. 3, 4. And release. Tadasana. 2, 3, 4. We inhale, lift. 2, 3, 4. As we fold in, maybe we start to warm up as you find the bottom of your breath there. Let the spine extend as you hip hinge, arms back like a little cow pose at the top. Exhale as you open. Maybe you help fold yourself in. Inhale, lift to rise the leg to hip to spine to shoulder to finger connection. Exhale, release, mountain pose. Tadasana, one more like that. Inhale, stretch up, kind of enjoy the body from fingertips to toe tips. Exhale, keep the hips over your heels as you fold in. Inhale, practice spinal extension. Notice the art of noticing shoulder blades on your upper back. Exhale, start to straighten the legs as you tuck in. Sweep the arms nice and wide as you inhale. Come all the way up standing, kind of layer by layer. And Tadasana, we add on. Inhale, arms up fully. Enjoy the rhythm. Exhale, fold in. Uttanasana, head drop. Float the arms back, hip hinge, heart open. Left foot steps deeply back, lunge. Drop your back left knee down. Use your whole exhale, and then use your whole inhale to lift up Anjaneyasana. You know, I like to hook my thumbs. It gives me that little extra bit of opening. Hands to the mat to step back, downward facing dog. Now here, you try to occupy your mind by inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. So I always say there's not a single thing in my life that wouldn't be improved if I didn't just like slow down and become a better observer, a better witness. Finish your last exhale and then step your left foot forward up in between your hands. That's your inhale. Put your back right knee down as you exhale. Inhale, arms up, Anjaneyasana for 2, 3, 4. If you want to hook your thumbs, and then fingertips to the mat and back foot steps forward as you extend and lengthen here. Now take all that length as you press the top of your head. I imagine my hips at a wall, and I imagine my top of my head at a wall in front of me, trying to press and extend. And then take that length all the way and start to get more and more folding at your hips, releasing of your spine. Hands to hips, elbows up here, flat back, press to stand. Okay, Tadasana, if you lost your breath, we come back to it. It's like how quickly we come back. Arms up, inhale, 2, 3, 4, all the way down and in, 2, 3, 4. Hip hinge, extend the spine. I want you to start to use back muscles and then step right foot all the way back into your lunge. Back, right knee down, and you just really wait for the breath. And that's why it's actually okay today if we don't have the camera, because I really want you moving with the flow of your breath, paying more attention to it. Hands to the mat, press back, downward facing dog. That is kind of one of the beauties of practicing from home, right? Sometimes when we get in a group class, we try to keep up with the pace of the person next to us, right? Or we think deeper than maybe where we really need to be. Find what's right for you today, what makes you feel both open and alert, but also grounded and stable. When you finish your next exhale, the right foot steps forward up in between your hands. Back left knee drops, it sinks down. Inhale, arms up, Anjaneyasana, hooking thumbs. Fingertips to the mat. Use an inhale breath to extend the spine. And then exhale, empty, 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 pulling the belly out, fully hollow here, Uttanasana. Hands to hips, elbows up, flat back, and you're going to lift to rise. Now we continue. 2 sun A's. Inhale, reach for 4. Exhale, fold for 4. So sometimes, like, especially on Fridays, like I like to kind of like doing what I know. There's a sense of kind of like ritual as I inhale, open. And then exhale, step back, top of your push-up plank pose. Hold for plank so you make sure you get your inhale here. And then you practice lowering flow on your exhale. Where are your shoulder blades? Inhale, peel up, cobra for 4. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. So you can actually start to get pretty warm if you're really like driving that engine of your Ujjayi breath. Inhale. Exhale. So you finish your exhale. And as you step forward, you use the inhale to lengthen the spine. And you use your exhale to fold all the way in. Circle your arms around and up. Inhale, lift all the way to stand. Exhale, Tadasana pose. You have one more. Inhale, reach. Maybe enjoy some like more space kind of coming into the backs of the legs, some releasing of the spine. Inhale, open, half flat back. Right leg steps back, left leg steps back, plank. I pause. I wait to make sure that I feel the back of my head is in line with the back of my heart. And then bend the elbows. Take your time, snuggling shoulder blades onto your upper back. Inhale, really work the back muscles in the legs extending. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. So it is okay. My intention and is going to constantly be pulled. We can never stop the distractions, but you can get better and better at coming back into maybe that visual field or the sound, your breath, the sensations, and peacefully step your feet together at the top of your mat. Inhale a little more length. Exhale, fold in. If you want to grab your calves, your ankles to start to squeeze in. Now, bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Inhale. Take your time, fold in. Uttanasana, top of the head, stretching towards the tops of your feet. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Left foot is going to step back into your lunge. You wait for your inhale breath to lift to rise. High lunge, get the stretch to the front of the hip. Hands to the mat as you step back and meet me in down dog. Now use your inhale breath to shift forward into plank. And then if you're ready, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, you have a lot more time to notice what's going on in the body when you slow down. Hips lift, up and back, down dog. We stay for one breath as you inhale fully. Remember feeling the rise of the chest, and you exhale completely, feeling the release of the belly. Left leg, do better. Inhale, take your left leg up and back. And remember, it's like that 2, 3, 4. And then you step it forward slowly. 2, 3, 4. Lift to rise, high lunge. 2, 3, 4. Fingertips to the mat. 2, 3, 4. Back foot forward, extend, lengthen. Take your time, legs together, squeeze in full Uttanasana. Bend knees, sit down and back, strong Utkatasana as you rise. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana. Inhale, final extension for 4. Right foot steps back, lunge. It should be your inhale breath that kind of lifts your hips, that extends your spine, high lunges, you balance. Hands to the mat to press back, downward facing dog. When you feel your inhale breath, you lift your heels, you shift forward into plank, connected to core. And when you feel that exhale, you take it all the way to chaturanga. Inhale, toes to nose, try to connect in your up dog. Lift your hips, press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your time, right leg lift without rushing. Maybe notice the left leg. Step right foot forward up in between your hands, lunge. Lift to rise, high lunge. So we're progressively today getting deeper and warmer. Fingertips to the mat. Step your back foot forward. Inhale, lengthen, spinal extension. Exhale, fold in, ribs to thighs, relax the neck. Surya Namaskara B. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Exhale now, fold and kind of move into any space. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Step back, and now let it be your exhale that takes you into a chaturanga. This picks up the pace. Inhale, lengthen through the back of the neck as you stretch through the crown of the head. Downward facing dog. You're exhaling. Right foot comes forward, back heel spins to flat. Lift up, warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. This is where you have to move a little bit faster as you pick up that right foot, chaturanga. Same pace for your inhale, up dog. Downward facing dog, that's the exhale. Left foot forward, back heel ground. Inhale, rise. Warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. You got to pick up that foot. 3, 4 as you lower chaturanga. Inhale, 3, 4, up dog. Hips lift. Down dog. Holding there, 1. Okay, so like if I'm really trying to work my attention, I can't do like crazy new sequences and crazy new poses. I've got to go to what my body already knows so that I can spend a little bit more of that focus on the mind. We have one more. Okay, Zubair, you're gonna bend your knees, and then this time, if you feel ready to jump, you could jump forward. Inhale, squeeze ankles, squeeze knees, squeeze inner upper thigh. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose, reach. Exhale, count out your breath as you fold in for 4. Inhale, lengthen, 2, 3, 4. If you want to jump, chaturanga, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, up dog, 2, 3, 4. Roll over toes, down dog, 2, 3, 4. Bottom of your exhale, inhale, right foot forward, back heel ground. A lot of energy in that back leg as you lift. Hands to the mat. If you want to float your right foot as you lower, getting progressively stronger. Inhale, lift, don't, right? Try to hold the breath, spread the breath fully. And then left foot steps forward, back heel grounds. Inhale, come on up, feel back leg. Exhale, hands to the mat. My connection to my left leg floats it. Chaturanga. Inhale, full up dog. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. If it helps, start. So I just think of these as like tools so that we can practice more and more skill in action. Okay, right leg lift. 2, 3, 4. Knee to nose as you step forward. 2, 3, 4. Lift to rise, high lunge. 2, 3, 4. Warrior 2, open. 2, 3, 4. Close your eyes. Can you count to 10? Can you count to 10 one more time? What would happen if you let go of all the extra over efforting and softened into the pose? Back hand on the back side, take your reverse warrior to stretch into side body. Hands to the mat, meet me back. Downward facing dog. Okay, so if in the counting, if you lost your breath, that's okay. But now try to go back to the rhythm of the breath as you inhale forward into plank for 4. Exhale, bend elbows for 4. Spread out the movement in the breath for 4. Up dog, lift hip, down dog. On your inhale breath, left leg float. 3, 4. Concentrate on knee to nose, rounding in. Use core, lunge. Inhale, rise. 2, 3, 4. Peel open, warrior 2, 3, 4. Close your eyes. On the movie screen of your mind, try to flash the numbers. Do it twice. And then with that internal awareness, that slowness, you scan the body. Where could you do less efforting? And when you feel an inhale breath coming, reverse your warrior. Hands to the mat, step back, meet me back. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels, shift forward, control through core plank. Exhale, elbows over your wrist, chaturanga. Can you notice feeling stronger when you go slower? Art of noticing, up dog, hips lift, up and back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Okay, so I know it's obviously hotter here, but I'm really hot, right? Because I'm moving slow, my breath is very consistent. Trying to kind of keep the heat in the body. Use it for your advantage. Inhale, right leg lift. 2, 3, 4, knee to nose, like it's a wave moving through your body as you step it forward, lunge. Inhale, rise, 2, 3, 4, open, warrior 2, 3, 4. Left heel spins in, goddess squat, close your eyes. Okay, so there's 2 questions that have become really important to me as I practice. First, what would happen if I stopped the over efforting in my face, my neck, the muscles that shouldn't be working? And then also, what muscles would I have to work to get back into this pose? So straighten your legs for a moment. What muscles do I need to activate? Think about those muscles, put your attention there, and then use those muscles like your core, your hips, your glutes as you sink back in. Close your eyes and try to count to 10. Good. What muscles do you have to use to spin that back leg? Warrior 2. Inhale, land in your warrior 2. Exhale, can you sink in deeper? Soften the shoulders. Back hand down the back side. Reverse the warrior here. Hands to the mat. Step back. Downward facing dog. Okay, so I know, Zubair, in classes like this, I get kind of like very like poignant and clear and a little bit like demanding with my instructions. But that's because those are easier to follow. When we start letting like the esoteric part of the practice come in, sometimes we get distracted. And so when we work on like the body alignment, sometimes we can do a better job of like lining, like having that internal alignment of the mind, the body, and the breath. Left side, inhale, left leg lift, 2, 3, 4, left knee forward, take your time, 2, 3, 4, lift to rise, inhale, 2, 3, 4, warrior 2, find your inner alignment. Good. Back heel spins in. I like to take my hands to my heart. So there's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be working. And then as I stretch my legs straight to get out of the pose for a moment, there is stuff that needs to be working. My core, my hamstring, and my glutes. As I settle back in, reapproaching, close the eyes. Can you count to 10? So you can see when there's the distraction of shaking, it's harder to keep your focus, right? But the hardest thing you do all day becomes the hardest thing that you do. Everything else will feel easy. Once you've gotten to 10, you try to find what muscle groups are going to help you open up into your warrior 2. Inhale, exhale, let's drop in a little deeper. When you feel your inhale breath for 4, reverse. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Kind of slow and methodical, so you really train yourself. When you're ready, heels lift, inhale forward. I've been working, Zubair, on not dropping my head, trying to keep the back of my head in line with the back of my heart. And then I inhale up and my neck always still stays long. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. This is going to be our last flow through. We're going to add some stuff on for you. So when you're ready, really connecting with breath, inhale, right leg lift. 2, 3, 4. Knee to nose. 2, 3, 4. Lift to rise. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Warrior 2, open. 2, 3, 4. Goddess pose. Hold it there. Find your edge. Straighten your legs. over your back left leg, hinge, triangle pose. So if the quality of my day, the quality of my life is my ability to pay attention to what I want to pay attention to, I really cannot think of anything more important these days. So in this pose, ask yourself, what muscles would you have to use to come out of the pose? And start using them here. So if I was going to lift up, I would have to use my back leg more and my core. See if focusing on what muscles you would have to use to come out of the pose helps you to deepen. You take one more breath at your own pace, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. Now use those muscles to inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, goddess squat, sit down and look. What muscles do you need to use to open up into your warrior 2, top of your mat? Inhale. Exhale for 4, melting the shoulders down the back. Reverse your warrior for 4, more side body if you can. Hands to the mat, and we meet back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. So I wanted to do this like in a practice that's like a yoga basic, but I don't think it's basic. Okay, maybe the moves that we're doing are basic, but there's nothing easy about not losing your mind. Left leg. Inhale, left leg. 2, 3, 4. Knee to nose. Strong. 2, 3, 4. Lift to rise. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Warrior 2, 2, 3, 4. Goddess pose. 2, 3, 4. Press to stand. Open that out. Hinge in. Triangle pose. So you know that your yoga practice has helped you get better proprioceptive ability, like how your body is taking up space. But then as our attention gets stronger and refined and more skillful, you start to understand more what's going on like in your inner landscape. Figure out what muscles you'd have to use to come out of the pose. So for me, it's a lot of the back leg, and I use that to deepen my triangle. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 4. And now you use those same muscles. Come on up. Goddess pose. Sink in. What muscles do you need to open and float out? Warrior 2. Now this is your last one. So really encouraging you, where could you do less? What muscles would you need to use to come out of it? Does that help you to support? Back hand down the back thigh, reverse. Hands to the mat, deep breathing, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift, heels, tone, legs, connect the core. And then focus on keeping the back of your head in line with the back of your heart as you lower. So like when I go slow, I can notice this type of stuff, the way that I typically drop my head. And then send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, good. Practice is going to kind of change gears here now. Come to sit down, and I think you can stay facing the top of your mat. I actually think that's the best because you have your narrow side of the mat forward. Now you're going to take your right shin bone and you're going to line the center, like I've got this bone right on the outside of my right ankle. I kind of line that up on the edge. I find the outside center of my right knee, and I really try to center that. It's like having a ruler, okay? And then the left leg goes back in that same position. So 90, 90. Now you got to get a block. Okay. So when you get the block, you put the block in line with the center of the upper leg. Then you take both hands and you frame the block. So I am twisting, I'm getting the side body length as I twist and frame the block. Now, I want you to think before you go in, like an up dog here. So what happens there is that like I lift up out of my low belly and then I push into the back hand, right? That should be my right hand so that I'm turning more. And then if it's available, I'd like you to see if you can come down onto your elbows. And then I just keep repositioning that block until it's underneath my forehead. Okay, so I can tell you right away, when I came into the pose, my shoulders were up by my ears. So what would need to happen? So if I walk my elbows a little bit more forward for me, my neck relaxes more. Close your eyes. Okay, so sometimes I just like you to know like where I'd like you to be feeling this. I'd like you to be feeling it through your left outer hip, your left oblique. And I'd like you to be feeling it as a twist through your core as you continually try to turn your heart and your chest more to the right. Okay. 1 minute. See if you can go back to counting to 10. Okay, whatever helps, engaging the visual field, your senses, sense of touch, sense of sound. Good. Keep your legs, please, as you come up through center. Now we're going to take that block and you're going to put it now in line with the center of your lower leg. It should feel a lot more like a pigeon pose. So as I come down onto my elbows, I start to feel the stretch. And then you're going to decide if it's better to just go kind of right down the midline for you. But then also an interesting stretch can be moving the block a little bit more in the direction of that right foot and actually walking your upper body away from the right hip and the right knee. And you might have to like move the block around. And feel as we stretch those right ribs away from the right hip, the side body opens. Okay. And sometimes I don't always tell like my little like tricks or things that I do, but I keep my left like heel, like the palm of my hand on the back of my heel so that like my foot doesn't slide, right? Because of tightness in my hips, it wants to slide. So I kind of lock my foot in and then I fold. So really I just like use my own body to create a little more stability so I can experience a deeper stretch. Okay, time started. We're going to try to make this a habit to try to count to 10. Start over again. Now, as you lift the center of your torso up, you're just going to put all the weight into that right hip and let your legs swing around, stacking your shin bone, feeling here. Okay, so when I did one of my first teacher trainings and we were told to take like long walks on the beach, counting. And every time we lost track of the, or like lost track of the number or had a thought, we were supposed to reset at 0. So we came back and the teacher asked, how far did you get? And, one girl was like, 8,000, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I got to 3 and I had to restart. And then I got to 4 and I had to restart. Okay. So I don't think that girl understood the instructions. There's a lot going on in here. And so just counting to 10 can be a really simple technique. Undo that right leg, reset left shin bone, block moves over, center of left thigh, frame it with both hands. Up dog or like a cobra first as you press into the back hand. So you really twist through the mid back where I think both of us actually hold a lot of tension. And then you continually move the block until you can rest yourself down and relax the neck and head. How quickly can you remember to come back to count to 10? Keep the legs, press up to center, move the block over the center, right? And if that's fairly easy for you, like, because that's kind of a very modified pigeon, if you can find a little more today, bringing the chest over the left foot, maybe using the right hand to make sure that the left foot doesn't slide, you can fold in here. So if you're working in pigeon pose, right, to like not let that left foot, it's easier to just do like the one leg at a time and you can start to get a really nice stretch here. Okay, time started. It's your last opportunity to try to practice counting to 10. Keep the legs as you lift back up to center. All the weight is going to go into that left hip. Right leg swings around. How we started class. Closing your eyes. I really can't do it on my own, right? This war for your attention bombarding me. It's been coming from all directions. So just simply taking the time to practice the art of noticing. And then you just try to keep that quietness as you unfold and lie down and back into Shavasana. And then you don't want to count and you don't want to try to control the breath. Because you were just working the brain. You want to give it a chance to relax. Deepen the breath. Start to come out of the pose. Make your way up to find seated. As you fold your hands in front of your heart center. So once you have control of that spotlight, once you have control of the flashlight, you get to decide like who and what to shine it on. And so sometimes it's even like if you're with a difficult person or a challenging situation, you try to shine the light on like the good or the lesson and instead of like this big spotlight on what's wrong. Pulling the hands in front of your heart, taking your thumbs to your third eye as you bow forward to seal your practice. Jai, Siddhartha.